Right. Thank you very much for those who are watching. We want to study mathematics today, and our question paper is so we want to kill a paper, then we see this one happens. So so the paper is was done by the GN Joint Examination on Web 2026, and this one is meant for candidates who are preparing for KCSE 2026. Right. Want us to study on one, which is having 50 marks. Then next time shall be study, or we shall look at section 2. Section 2. So the first question is asking, a quadratic curve passes through the points -2.5, 0, and 4, 0. Find the equation of the curve in the form y is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, c are the integers. Now, when you are given an equation like this, you are given only the points, and you are supposed to come out with the equation of the curve. And this one is it is there in form 3 when you are studying about quadratic equations. So what you do is just come out with and that is if you are having that is 5, -2.5 here. You have -2.5 here. So that -2.5 you can have it as 5/2. 5/2. So it's like when you are having that x is equals to -2.5. So whenever you're having something like that, then if you bring this one the other side, it becomes that x plus 2.5 is equals to 0. In other words, that's supposed to mean 2.5 is the same as 5/2. The same as 5/2. So you can write it as well, x plus 5/2 is equals to 0. So that if you multiply all the way times 2, you end up having 2x plus 5 is equals to 0. It's equals to 0. And that's what we have here. 4, 0. Then if you're having 4, 0, you take x is equals to, that is to mean that x minus 4 is going to be 0. So you have now x minus 4, and you have 2x plus 5. You expand here. Expanding there, you use 4 minus 20 is equals to 0. And you're having now the equation 2x squared minus 3x minus 20. So the marking points are very much important, where the first one, when you are expanding, and you are coming with an equation and the final answer, you get your 3 marks. Now the second question, given that log 5 is equals to 0.6990 and log 7 is equals to 0.8451. Without using mathematical tables, calculate evaluate log 0.6125. Again, this question is very, very essential, for those who are doing the kind of questions. You have to be very keen because it's very challenging for some of the students. So ensure that you use log 5 and the log 7 that you have been given up there. So the first thing is to ensure that you have changed the log 0.6125 in such a way that it becomes very simple to work out. Look at 6125. 6125 over 10,000, because we have 4 decimal places, you can have it as 61 log 6125 over 10,000. Then you can now in terms of 7 and 5, because those are the logs we are having, you have 5 and 7. So you have 7. If you take 7 squared multiply by 5 cubed, you end up having 6125. What we have been given up there, we have log 10 and we have log 5 and we have log 5. So that's what we are using. So from there, you come out with the rules. Logs, when we are multiplying, you are supposed to add. When we are dividing, you are supposed to subtract. So, and that's why you are seeing that particular step is given down there, that if you take, if you do log 7, if you are having log 5 power 3 is the same as 3 log. So, and that's what we are having, minus the log 10 to power 10,000. And the reason why we don't change 10,000 is because that one has an exact to log given up there 0.8, and that's what you're having down there, plus 3 into 0.6990. Then how do you find? So if you take 10 to power x, it should be giving us 10,000. So that means if I want to find, is just if you take 10 to power 4, what the time you get 10,000, 10 to power 4. So that means x, the x is going to be 4. X is going to be 4. And that's why you're having that 4 here. Then you work out your calculator now here. Then as negative 0.2128. Right. Question. A cylindrical container has exact base radius of 14 centimeters and a height of 13.2 centimeters measured to the nearest millimeter. Determine the percentage error in calculating the volume of the cylinder. Now this is a question in Form 3, area approximation, area errors, and the topic of errors and approximation, and whereby we are working out relative error, percentage error, absolute error, all those ones are there in Form 3. So you are given the question here, you can see as 13.2, and it's measured to the nearest meter. Now the first thing you have to find the actual volume, the volume before the error. So you take, how do you find the volume of a cylinder? volume as our cylinder is given as pi r squared. So if you are finding the volume, then you have to multiply by the radius squared, which is 14, multiply by the height, which is 13.2. You get 25.82 pi. Maximum volume. How do you find maximum volume? Now, in this case, the radius is exact. So we don't find the error in the radius. The radius remains the same, but what changes is the height, which is measured to the nearest a millimeter. So we have 10, how many centimeters make 10 centimeters? 10 millimeters is equal to at the 13 centimeters, just to the nearest millimeter, and find now the percentage error. Now 13.2. You have your calculator there. If you take so to the nearest millimeters, you have just a decimal. It has 13.2. That is one decimal. It becomes error now will be just multiplied by 0.1. So the answer you get here is 0.05. Height here. So 13.2, you add 0.05. You are answer as 13.25. So you multiply, you get 25.97 here. Then minimum volume. So minimum means less. That is to give us 13.2 subtract 0.05. You end up having 13.15. But volume percentage error as you remember that one, the error percentage error giving the absolute error divided by the actual, then you multiply by, that is your percentage error, like that. Now a plus root 2, but variation is the denominator. What is the LCM? The LCM is just the multiplication of the two. If that is the case, then we have how do you come out with the numerator up there? How many times root 3 minus root 2 goes to the LCM? It is the opposite of the other one. So it becomes this one here. So multiply by 5. The other one becomes this one, multiply by 2. Then expand out, then you will come out with root 5 root 3 plus 5 root 2 minus 2 root 3 plus 2 root 2 divided by 3 minus 2. If you only expand the denominator is root 3 minus root 2. You want to multiply, you want to expand it with root 3 plus root 2. How do you expand it? In bracket. In bracket, we have root 3 plus root 2. Unafunga, you have root 2. Then you repeat again, root 3 plus root 2. Now open up, root 3 times that one, you get 3. Then root 3 times root 2, you get plus root 6 minus the other one, it becomes again root 6. then minus root 2 times root 2, you get just 2. So this one and this one cancels. You remain with 3 minus 2, which is equals to 1. And that's basically what we are having here. Then you work out the numerator up there. After working now the numerator, it becomes 7 root 2 plus 3 root 3. And this one is resembles. If you remember, our question was to find n and m. 7 root 2 root 3. So that means this this m is resembles 7 and this n resembles our 3. So m is equals to 7 and n is equals to 3. That is it. Then number 5, the vertices of triangle T are 1, they are 1, 1, 2, B is 4, 2, and C is 3, 4. The vertices of a triangle that is of the image of T are I have 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 2. Then you ask to determine the transformation of matrix A, B, C, D that maps T onto the image, Now, how do you do this one? How do you go about this one? Now, the first thing you have to remind ourselves, you have the coordinates of the objects, they are here. Then we have the vertices of the image you have been given, they're down there. You ask to find just the matrix or transformation. So if you try to take the matrix itself, you multiply by the object A, B, C, D. You multiply by the object, which is 1, 2, 4, 2, 3, 4. You end up having the coordinates of the image as 1 over 2, 1, 2, 1, and 3 over 2, 2. End up having something like that. We studied about how you multiply matrices by the column. The first column, the second column, and the third column. So if you do that, I think you come out with the equation, some of the equations are C and D. But we are here, which is also very correct. The transformation of that matrix you multiply by the object, that is the coordinates of the object, to get the image. So that means m is going to be is going to be t divided by multiplied by t, the reciprocal of t. The reason is, let me show you down here. I'm having if you're having m multiplied by t is equals to t. That one is to show you, if you get m, the t will go the other side. Is you are taking t power -1, you divide by t. So in other words, this t is going to be the reciprocal. Now m will be going to